Believe it or not, we are on to week 5 of the college fantasy football season. This waiver wire is more important than ever. It's getting hard out there, folks. You got to dig deep. You got to have some good insight, and that's what we are here to bring you. 9 more players. You know the deal. You got those start-sit questions. Drop them in the comments. If you're watching the video, give it a like. Show us that support. John, we're going to the quarterback position. This week we have 2 quarterbacks. Normally we have 3, but it's tough, man. It's tough out there at the quarterback position right now.
It is tough in the QB streets, especially with bye weeks and injuries. But Matt, this is our 3rd UNLV Rebel player we have featured this year.
We love UNLV here.
We do, my man. They have been such sweet fantasy success. And this week, you've got to try to pick up Anthony Colandrea, everyone. He is quarterback 16 in college fantasy football this season. Matt, he is rocking and rolling. He has an 8-3 touchdown to interception ratio. But more importantly, he has 229 yards rushing. He only has 1 touchdown on the ground, and those can be sticky and fickle. So maybe he scores like 3 or 4 the remainder of the year. And in the last 3 games, Matt, he has scored 30, 32, and 29 fantasy points. And when I was doing the research, I know it's the Mountain West, but can it get any tastier than Wyoming, Air Force, and Boise coming up? Because even if Boise's pretty good offensively, their defense is not good at all this year. So we have shootouts and lots of fantasy points coming from the Rebels.
Absolutely. It's hard not to be invested in that offense. And sometimes you overthink it, right? You might be thinking, well, why is Colandrea still on the waiver wire heading into week 5? It doesn't matter. He is. I mean, you saw the rostership number, right? So go in, get him. You don't want to catch yourself overthinking the waiver wire in the midseason. That's a very common mistake. And we don't want to overthink this one, John. We don't care that he's heading into the Big Ten schedule here. We are in on Fernando Mendonza.
Hey, I've been talking about this Indiana offense and Curt Cignetti for a while now. And you and I have Mendoza on both of our underdog teams that we drafted over the summer together. Unfortunately, we lost Steve Angeli, but, we're going to keep on moving forward, Matt. He is too hot to be available in over 50% of leagues, everyone. He should be at 75% ownership by the end of this week. He is CFF quarterback 3 on the season. And in his last 3 games, Matt, 36, 48, and 41 fantasy points. I couldn't even believe this stat when I looked this morning. 14-0 touchdown to interception ratio. You can't get any better than that. 77% completion rate. And Matt, I watched all the first 3 quarters of the demolition of Illinois last night. I eventually, when it was like 55-10, I just said, I'm going to go switch to something else. Mendoza was unbelievable in that game. Matt, this offense is loaded. If he's available, you got to go get him. He's the type of guy who might be a league winner. I know it's the Big Ten, but I don't care, Matt. I believe in Curt Cignetti.
Absolutely. On to the running back position here. We're going to go Dylan Riley here, starting off at Boise State, John. This is a big one. He's really broken out specifically over the last 2 games.
Absolutely. We want Boise State running backs. And during the summer, there was debates and people were discussing this backfield. And Dylan Riley was basically 3rd on the depth chart, Matt. But because of opportunities that he's had in the last 2 weeks, he's been unbelievable. I was impressed 2 weeks ago at Eastern Washington, but that's an FCS program, and he only had 6 carries for 123 yards and a touchdown. So you're really not sure why he was so efficient. Was it just the opponent? Was he talented? But Matt, he ended up leading all backs this week with 57.5 fantasy points. All right, young man, you now have my attention. 19 carries, 171 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He also had 2 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown. Matt, production leads to opportunity. Opportunity provides production in fantasy sports. Right now, Dylan Riley, how can you bench him if you're the coaching staff? He's just been phenomenal. My only the only worry I have is he plays Notre Dame in 2 weeks. But other than that, the schedule's unbelievable.
Yeah, what's nice about his schedule as well, he doesn't have another bye until week 11.
That's
So,
nice.
right, you're getting him into your lineup. And John, week 13 and week 14, and it's not too early to be thinking about week 13 and week 14. Colorado State, Utah State. That's a pretty nice draw there heading into the end of your college football, fantasy football playoffs. All right, next up here, John, I've got OJ Arnold out of Georgia Southern. A similar trend, right? If we're talking process, which we like to try to do, we're looking at who's been popping over the last couple weeks, who's earning the trust of their coaching staff. Well, just over the last 2 weeks, OJ Arnold has 29 carries for 213 rushing yards, and he has 3 touchdowns over those 2 games. I like this nice, there's a two-part stretch that I really like for Arnold. Week 7 through week 9, he's got Southern Miss, Georgia State, Arkansas State.
Nice.
That's really juicy.
Yes.
And then again, that potential playoff run for your team, right? Coastal Carolina, smash. ODU's been playing well on offense, but their defense, not good, especially their rush defense. And then Marshall, I mean, just an absolute shambles of a defense right now. So you're adding OJ Arnold, you're getting some immediate impact, but you have 6 weeks that I think you can really have like big time smash potential coming from OJ Arnold.
Yeah, and did you know he threw a touchdown pass yesterday?
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he threw. You know, the only reason I know is I had him on 2 of my teams, and I saw that he got points, and I'm looking around. I'm like, wait, where did it come from? And sure enough, he threw a touchdown pass. So, hey, it counted as 6 points in some of the leagues I play in. So I was very happy.
I absolutely believe that. All right, let's go up to New England, John, in our area of the world. We got Boston College here. Turbo Richard, I think Bill O'Brien's found his target hog.
Oh, there's no question in my mind. And this young man is playing very good football. He's good running the ball, but Matt, what I really like about him is O'Brien is using him as a pass catcher. I was shocked when I took a deeper dive. 15 targets, Matt. That is fantasy heaven. And he has 12 catches for 148 yards. He has 4 total touchdowns. Matt, last year he was stuck on the depth chart. They had talent there at Boston College. But this year, this is really Bill O'Brien's team. If you watch the offense, this is the offense that he wanted. You can like it or not. Castellanos did not fit his offense, but now he has the parts in place, and you know he's going to feed his running back. Go get Turbo Richard, everyone. He's available in 68% of leagues, Matt.
Woo. We love that. All right, that is our running back slate here, John. On to the wide receivers, and we're starting with Chaz Nimrod out of Southern Florida. You know, a lot of folks hone in, right? When you watch the Tennessee offense, you think of the Josh Heupel offense, and we talked about it even with Chris Brazell last week, right? In our Plays of the Week episode about, wanting to get the next Jalen Hyatt. Well, remember, Alex Golesh was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, right? When you had the Jalen Hyatt experience. And so whenever I see a wide receiver pop off at USF, I get really excited about that.
I completely agree. And Byron Brown is playing much better. Matt, he clearly was hurt last year. You just see this South Florida offense putting the ball in the air. They're putting points on the board. And Golesh is clearly using Chaz Nimrod as his stud in the last 2 weeks, Matt. He has 15 targets. I like that a ton. He has converted 8 into catches, and he has well over 230 yards receiving. Matt, he's averaging about 30 and a half yards per reception.
Ooh.
And last week he scored twice. he should not remain available. Now, they have a bye this week. So if you don't want to put a bid on him, you're taking a risk that maybe he won't go. But, man, afterwards with that American Conference schedule, I love Nimrod on the Bulls offense.
Yeah, I think that's a really fun pick. And you mentioned it. We were so excited for Byron Brown heading into last season. He was hurt. We wrote him off. He looks healthy, John, and the offense is clicking. So that's going to be a really fun. And they're going to be motivated, by the way, because they're the potential group of 5 playoff team, right? So, if they're up 20 at the end of a game, they're not running the ball. They're looking to put up points and make a statement, right?
Yeah.
All right. I've got Omari Kelly here, wide receiver from Michigan State. I've watched him. He's a transfer, John. Is it Memphis?
I think it's Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee. It was blue and gray in my head.
yes. Middle Tennessee.
For Middle Tennessee.
Auburn before that.
Yeah, I kind of had my eye on him as a low-key Devy guy. So he keeps popping because I do pay attention to the Michigan State offense, right? He's 16% ownership. But I really like 75% catch rate, 28 targets through 4 games, which is good on its own, right? But I like targets even more when they're consistent. So he has at least 5 targets in each game. It's not like he had one game with 12 targets and one game with 2. So it's really nice to see that consistency. And again, we talked about it, right? Heading into the Big Ten schedule, it's natural to back off of guys. But Michigan State, when they played USC, they had to throw the ball a ton to try to keep up. And Omari Kelly caught 6 of his 7 targets for 133 yards and a touchdown. That was this past week. So you could fade it based on tough defenses, or you could remember that Michigan State's a team who's going to be playing in a negative game script, and they're going to need to throw the ball a ton. Aiden Childs does not care how many times or where he throws the ball to, all right?
Yeah,
so he's probably going to get Omari Kelly for a touchdown along with his 2 interceptions every week. That's going to benefit the wide receiver. And you mentioned it with the Nimrod pick as well. You can get these guys heading into bye week cheaper. If you have a spot on your bench, if you could afford to not, just have a plug and play, sometimes going for the guys heading into bye is really advantageous for your fab budget.
Absolutely. And Matt, you mentioned Aiden Childs. I'm not willing to pick him up yet, but you know what, Matt?
I thought about it. I was close.
I watched 2 Michigan State games this year. Do you know Aiden Childs is CFF quarterback 14?
Yeah.
I mean, he's chucking the ball. I mean, it's kind of like the Jameis Winston. One throw, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then the next throw is into triple coverage. But hey, man, it's a fun watch.
Yeah, I thought about it. He almost made the show. Maybe on the Plays of the Week show, which as a reminder, folks, if you want our Plays of the Week, that is available. The link is in the episode description. Join us over at patreon.com/rookiebigboard, and you get your double dose of CFF advice every week. But John, on to Rutgers here with our final wide receiver selection, but not our final selection of the week for the waiver wire, KJ Duff.
Matt, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Rutgers is pretty fun to watch throwing the football. I was watching that game against Iowa, and, I thought it was going to be like a physical defensive slugfest. The Hawkeyes don't put a lot of points on the board. I look up at the end of the first quarter, and it was loaded like 14-14. And there was this series for Rutgers on offense, Matt, and I've never seen this from the Scarlet Knights. They threw 3 consecutive deep balls from their 40, and what I mean is over 20 yards down the field outside the hash mark. Now, the first 2 were incomplete, and the third one was a pass interference to keep the chains moving. But I was stunned to see a Schiano team throw the ball that much down the field. And I couldn't help but notice KJ Duff. Matt, he has been really, really good under the radar for the Scarlet Knights. His fantasy points are 16, 19, 18, and 16 this year. Matt, he has 36 targets in 4 games. I mean, KJ Duff, Rutgers is probably going to have a negative game script, right? And their passing game is fantasy friendly right now. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it is. Watch the tape, everyone.
All right, we got one more here for you. We got a tight end this week. I've got Carsen Ryan, a tight end out of BYU. He's available in 96% of leagues. Listen, this is when things get tough for the tight ends, man. Those bye weeks go, and sometimes you just want to make sure you don't get a zero, right, in that spot. He has 11 targets through 4 games. He's caught 9 of them, so he's got a high percent rate. That's good when he's building chemistry with a young quarterback. Last week, he caught 4 of 6 targets for 63 yards against East Carolina. And I like this again, consistency, 36 plus yards in each game. So at least 36 yards. And he has a touchdown in 2 of his 3 games. These are good, consistent numbers for a tight end. I think the BYU offense is going to rely on that short passing game. He's got Colorado, he's got West Virginia, and he's got Arizona, up next. Those are 3 teams, John, with offenses that are going to push the game tempo, but do not have good defenses. And that's exactly what we like for fantasy football. And that's 9 players that we like off of the waiver wire this week. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give it a like. And again, we're here to help you out. Drop those start-sit questions in the episode comments, and we'll help you out. But if you want to head into the episode description, you can check out our link, patreon.com/rookiebigboard, and you can see our week 5 plays of the week video. Get that double dose of CFF advice because we got you on to those week 5 victories.